Hammond hits defiant ton as hosts follow on. A new career best of 118 from Felix Organ and a beautifully compiled 95 from James Vince took Hampshire to 457 on day 2 before the visitors struck with the ball as well. Gloucestershire reduced to 43 for 2 at the end of the second day. They were still trailing by 414. Hammond and Price were the incumbents in the middle for Gloucestershire and pushed the score beyond 50 early in the day, knowing that conditions were much better for bowling than they had been so far this week. That meant boundaries were few and far between early in the day, but Price and Hammond started to find their feet and would move their way to a 50-run partnership scored off 140 balls, the mark reached with 4 from the latter. They were even thinking about 3 figures, but Liam Dawson was having none of it. He broke the partnership. Hammond down the track and looking to accelerate, out-stumped by Brown for 38. 2 balls later, Dawson dismissed Bracey for a dark and Hampshire had momentum. Ollie Price pushed on though, moving the score to 3 figures with a 4 off Dawson, and soon enough he went to a half century, up to the mark off 111 balls with a pulled 4 off Abbott. He'd depart for 59, caught by Gubbins off the bowling of Felix Organ. The hosts now 5 down and still more than 300 in arrears. Higgins would at least help reduce that to 288 before he was bowled by James Fuller for 11. Gloucestershire in a sticky spot at lunch with the score 169 for 6. And their difficulties deepened. Zafar Gahar caught behind for 2 off Dawson, and Tom Price followed in the next over, trapped in front for a 2-ball duck by Abbott. Van Buren had been doing all he could to try and give Gloucestershire something to cling on to, and had 50 for his efforts, scored off 74 balls with his 10th 4 taking him to the half century. He soon lost another partner though, Organ with his second, Chappell LBW for 1, and Shaw was the final wicket to fall, caught by Gubbins off Fuller for a 6-ball duck. Gloucestershire all up for 201, still 256 behind Hampshire. They'd really struggled to get going, over half of the runs contributed by Van Buren and Price, with just Hammond's 38 getting beyond 20 in a card featuring 4 ducks. Liam Dawson had been their chief tormentor, finishing with 4 for 44. Gloucestershire were back out there soon enough, the follow-on enforced, Hampshire going for the jugular, in pole position, and their grip on the match tightened when Harris was caught behind off Barker in the 3rd over. He then had Dent, stumps flying as the opener was bowled for 4. Price and Hammond were back trying to rebuild the innings again, and again they made a decent fist of it, carrying Gloucestershire through to tea with a score 65 for 2, the deficit now below 200. Their stand was worth 50 off 84 balls after the break, but a long road still lay ahead, and they'd have to bat on without first innings top scorer Price, Barker's 3rd victim, out caught on the pull by James Vince. Hammond would manage to move to 50, up to the mark off 78 balls with a 4 to the spin of Dawson. The hosts neared 100. Hammond took them to 3 figures, pushing Dawson into the leg side for a single. He wouldn't be able to count on Bracey for support though, caught at second slip by Dawson for Abbott's first of the innings. Van Buren joined Hammond in the middle, watching on as his colleague counter-attacked with big shots to Dawson, and it was all about the number 4. Hampshire got a bit stuck, and Hammond took advantage. The visitors' lead was already down to double figures when the Gloucestershire man whipped Barker to the ropes to move to 100. It was his 18th boundary. If the hosts were going to take something out of this, he'd be the man to earn it. He and Van Buren were still together at the close, the score 191 for 4, but parity was now just 65 away. If they're to play their way out of trouble, they'll need to bat for the majority of the final day. But at the moment, Hampshire still hold all the cards and are a determined outfit. Keeping pace with Surrey in the hunt for the title is quite some motivation.